Thank you very much for joining us for this week's talk on the Sedra of Chayei Sara, the Sedra that talks about the first acquisition of land in Eretz Yisrael by Avraham Avinu. It was at the time the land of Canaan, and we are dedicating this learning in the prayer for the speedy and safe release of all of the hostages in Gaza and the success and safety of all of the soldiers in the IDF as they continue their mission to protect the people of Israel and the land of Israel. And as we read through the details of the opening section of the Sedra, which talk about the passing of Sarah Imenu, Sarah our mother, and the efforts of Avram Avinu, Avram our father, to secure the burial place in the cave of Machpelah, that is Hebron, and we read about the precise detail of the negotiations that happen between Avraham Avinu and the Bnei Ches, the people of Ches, who were the people who were living there at a time, as he negotiates to buy that specific place. And in the opening section, which is chapter 23 of Bereshis, from the first verse right through to verse 18, we see the phrase, the children of Ches, are mentioned 10 times. And a very interesting medrash says that this number of times that the reference to the children of Ches corresponds to the 10 commandments. And this special merit that accrued to the children of Ches was because they tried to support Abraham. They were acting as the sort of help there. They were helping in negotiations. Ephron, the person who owned the field, was it seems somebody who said one thing and possibly meant another. Negotiations were not easy, and the Bnei Ches were supportive of Abraham, and they were part of the successful conclusion to the negotiations, which saw that Abraham purchased the burial plot, and this became the site of the city of Hebron and the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, the cave of Machpelah, that is the grave of 4 couples. We have Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, Avram and Sarah, and Yitzchak and Rivka, and Yaakov and Leah. And the fact that Sarah is the original, is the person for whom this place was set aside especially. We need to ask, why does the Torah go into such minute detail for what seems to be a bargain that was struck, a purchase that was made, and we could move on perhaps after 2 or 3 verses and not spend 18. And if we look at the names of the city of Hebron and also this concept of Machpelah, they are going to give us some hints as to why these places are so significant. So Hebron has the root Ches Ves Resh, which is also a root that translates into a joining, a connection. And we have chaver, which is a friend, for example. This is a connection between 2 people through the bond of friendship. And when we see the word machpelah as well, has within it the root kaful, kaf pe lamed, and this means double. And the concept of double was used in a few different ways. That we have the idea that anybody who was buried there had a double reward, a double portion. It's also the idea that 4 couples were buried there, so that's how the notion of double comes in. But this concept of having a double reward, what was the double reward? And then as if to go further, to point out the unique significance of the particular place of Hebron and the Ma'aras HaMachpelah, we are told, the Medrash Tanchuma says that the Medrash Tanchuma actually says that the hymn eshet chayil, the special song that is sung Friday night as we come back from the synagogue, from shul, and we are round the table, we sing this song, that this was actually Avram Avinu's hesped, his eulogy for his beloved wife Sarah as he buries her in the Ma'oras HaMachpelah. So how are all of these various seemingly unconnected points actually joined together? So the Zohar tells us that the Ma'aras HaMachpelah is actually the entrance to Gan Eden. This is the way in, as it were, to Gan Eden. Now, entrance in Jewish law, an entrance itself, does not have an intrinsic identity, because it depends. If the door is open, the entrance is considered part of the inside of whatever structure is there. If the door is closed, then the entrance is considered part of the outside. So the entrance is like a link from one place, from the outside to the inside, and depending on the door, it can belong to either. So by saying that the Ma'aras HaMachpelah is actually the entrance, we're saying that it is a link that can gain us entry from one to the other. And if we reflect for a moment that Gan Eden, that elusive concept of the Garden of Eden, that may conjure up images of paradise, of somewhere imaginary, somewhere far away that we can never really get to. That's really not the sort of idea in Jewish thought and practice, because when we are talking about Gan Eden, we are talking about we are talking about this access into a higher world, a higher level of spiritual living. And when we're talking about, perhaps we could equate it with Olam Haba, which is the world to come, as it were. And this is contrasted to Olam Hazeh, this world, the world of material, the world of physical, that seems to be really such a contradictory opposite to this idea of the spiritual world to come. But the idea of Machpelah, the cave of Machpelah, being at the entrance, it means that somehow the people who are buried inside it, and we could say especially the person for whom it was originally purchased, are in some way joining the idea of Olam Hazeh and taking us, connecting us to that high level of spiritual living that we associate with Gan Eden, with Olam Haba, with that close connection to Hashem. And when we think that that this song eshet chayil is, there are other opinions and other ways of understanding, and to whom eshet chayil is referring, it translates as literally a woman of valor, which doesn't have the same resonance as eshet chayil. But when we look at the words, we'll say eshet chayil mi yimtza, who will find, and it's a rhetorical question. And according to the Medrash Tanchuma, every single line is actually referring to Sarah Imeni. But there is one particular line that talks about Zolma Saderva Tikochehu. So she planned a field and acquired it. Now, this is alluding to the field in which the cave of Machpelah was situated. And what does this medrash mean? Because really, the field and the acquisition, as we have so minutely recorded in the Torah, was something that was undertaken by Avraham Avinu. So how can we say in eshet chayil that she is the one who planned that field? And how we are able to understand it is that it was the life and the values of Sarah Imenu, as she was a complete partner, a total partner in the mission of Avraham Avinu to bring Hashem's word and Hashem's values and the values of the Torah into this world, to take these ideas which were completely alien to people at the time, that we might mistakenly think were people who were unsophisticated and they were idol worshippers. And, lest we think that today we are more sophisticated and we have greater access to higher levels of truth and understanding. I think as we look at what is happening around us all over the world, that certainly can't be the case. But Sarah was the driving force, as it were, was the sort of the enabler of, as well as the partner of Avram Avinu, to be able to carry out his mission. And she brought the physical up to the spiritual, and she brought the spiritual down to the physical. And we can see that really Avram Avinu's achievements, his material achievements, actually stop, although he lives many years after Sarah dies, and he marries again as well. We see that Yitzchak encourages his father to marry again, somebody called Keturah, which according to the Medrash we learn is actually Hagar. But the thing is that after Sarah passes away, his mission as Av Hamon Goyim doesn't seem to have any more developments. And so we can attribute the fact that he was so successful, that he carried out this incredible achievement of recognizing the world was created by the Creator and continues to be ongoing, created by the Creator. And we have a moral code, and we have a responsibility to ourselves, to the people around us, to the world around us, and mostly to Hashem, to recognize that oneness of Hashem, to bring Hashem's word into the world. This was something that did not continue in terms of Avram achieving more along that line after Sarah passes away. And so we are able to see how Sarah's actions, she was the one who was planning and acquiring the field of entry point into as at the end of Gan Eden, of entry point into the world to come, with her support, with her own efforts and achievements to make this world the better place for recognizing Hashem's presence in everything that we do. And this is something that applies to all of us. This is something that, as daughters of Sarah Imenu, we carry on her mission. We inherit her DNA. And this is also something more broadly that applies to all of the Jewish people, as we, please God, are bringing light into the world. And although it feels like a very dark world, and especially at the moment, and there are very many challenges, but dark does not exist. Dark is the absence of light, and it is the light of the life of Sarah, the light that continues to shine as we carry on her legacy. And with that, the smallest light can banish the darkness. And please God, we should merit that we bring our mother Sarah much nachat, and we carry on her values, and we are able in this way to make the world a fitting place for Hashem's presence. Thank you very much for listening, and wishing everybody Shabbat Shalom.